On Germany's second birthday, he wasn't staying with me, but he ended up coming back on her birthday. We had sex, unprotected.
It wasn't baby making sex. It was angry sex.
It's not about baby making sex. Sex is sex. Whether it's baby making, love making, hate making, sex is sex, and she's still here as a baby. It don't matter what type of sex it was unprotected.
Do you believe you are Skylar's biological father?
Yes, ma'am.
And Your Honor, he's not. That's her ex-boyfriend, my daughter's.
Wait a minute now. Miss Cooper, this is your ex-boyfriend?
Yes, Your Honor.
That was a mistake, Your Honor.
Oh, wow. This case is a whole mess from the start. Judge Lake introduces Beckley vs. Allen, where Ms. Beckley is done with Mr. Allen dodging their daughter. Meanwhile, he's claiming this baby isn't his, and it's ruining his love life.
Ms. Beckley, you are in court today to prove Mr. Allen is the biological father of your 1-year-old daughter, Italy Beckley.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say Mr. Allen has only seen his daughter one time since she has been born, and you want him to take responsibility starting today.
This part is straight up wild. Ms. Beckley says they had angry, intimate violence on their daughter's birthday, and boom, pregnancy. Mr. Allen is like, that math ain't mathing, because she told him just 2 days later.
On Germany's second birthday, he wasn't staying with me, but he ended up coming back on her birthday. We had sex, unprotected.
It wasn't baby making sex. It was angry sex.
It's not about baby making sex. Sex is sex. Whether it's baby making, love making, hate making, sex is sex, and she's still here as a baby. It don't matter what type of sex it was unprotected.
It was angry sex. I was mad at the fact that she put me at the house, that I had been there taking care of her and the children.
Here come the receipts, and they are not looking good for Mr. Allen. Ms. Beckley shows that he signed the first 2 kids' birth certificates, but not Italy's. He swears it's because she refused a DNA test, but the judge is not buying it.
He signed Germany's and Xavier's birth certificate. Hers is not signed.
So the first one is for Germany, Jacqueline Allen. Father's name's there. Second one, Xavier Dantes Tyrell Jerome Allen. Father's name is there. Third one, Italy Lisa Alexandria Beckley. No father listed.
This is where it gets real shady. The judge asks why he sees his other kids, but won't even FaceTime Italy. He blames Ms. Beckley for keeping her away, and she's like, "Sir, you said she wasn't yours. Make it make sense."
Well, Your Honor, I have questioned Shamia about Italy. You know, I asked could I speak to her. She say no. We have swap and exchange at a police station. She don't bring Italy. She don't make Italy a factor to my life. She gave
You're denying her. Why would I bring her to see you?
She gave Italy her last name for the simple fact that she want to hurt me and break me down as a father.
This part feels like a budgeting lesson. The judge asks if he can even afford all these kids, and he starts mumbling. She tells him parenting is about quality, not quantity, and he looks stressed.
That doesn't mean that you've got to create more children to be the best father. That just means be the best father to the children you have, and until you are financially able, about being the quality of father you can be, not having a quantity of children. And that's just the truth.
I work hard for every dollar I get to provide for my children.
Oh, now we got the fiance in the mix. She says a neighbor told them Ms. Beckley claimed another man was the dad. Ms. Beckley goes full defense mode, and the judge has to gavel them into silence.
A neighbor of hers told you this.
A neighbor of hers contacted him and told me and him that she was telling another guy that he was the father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Beckley, were you made aware that there was someone saying that you told another man he was the father?
I wasn't aware, and I never said that.
Okay.
Never.
Time for the big reveal.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Allen, you are the father.
Told you. You too, fiance. Stepmama.
This case is crazier than a soap opera, but 100% real. The Hendricks couple is back in court. Last time, she accused him of cheating, and he passed a lie detector test. Now he's flipping the script, saying their baby isn't his, and things get messy fast.
Ms. Hendricks, you and your husband previously appeared in court because you suspected he was being unfaithful.
She was naked on the bed, and Chris was in there.
Oh, I'm perfectly aware of what's at stake.
Mr. Hendricks was asked, had he had sex with his ex? What was his response?
His response was no.
What did the lie detector determine?
The lie detector determined that he was being truthful.
Mrs. Hendricks is furious and says her husband must be blind because the baby looks just like him. She reminds him that she named the baby after him and even circumcised him, which feels like a weird flex. But just when you think she's got a solid case, her past actions make things look a little messy.
even though I've done everything he wanted me to do. Named him after him, circumcised him, did everything.
Mr. Hendricks, she says she did everything you wanted her to do, even named the child after you. You don't believe the child is yours?
I don't feel that bond like I do with my other children.
I even named him after your dad.
He barely looks like me. I'm not seeing any characteristics. He don't have any of my personal features.
You must
I'm
be
not
blind.
seeing as well as the others.
Things get sad real fast when Mrs. Hendricks reveals she had cancer and felt like her husband was cheating. She partied, drank, and stayed out late because she thought her life was falling apart. Now, her husband doesn't trust her, and the doubt is getting worse.
Last September, his Facebook messages were coming to my phone, and it was one of his coworkers. She was saying very sexual things to him. About 10 days later, I had found out that I had endometrial cancer. Whenever I was diagnosed with all of that, I just got very upset with everything that was going on with him. I was like, okay, well, you're cheating.
Just when things were already bad, a family member jumps in and says Mrs. Hendricks admitted to cheating. But Mrs. Hendricks denies it and says she only kissed a guy but blacked out after. Now her husband really doesn't believe a word she says.
Like I said, I'd been hanging out with them all. My brother had started a bonfire and everything. One of his friends that he'd hung out with and worked with came over. While we were hanging out, we were drinking whiskey. I had ended up kissing him. I immediately called him and asked him to come and get me. And I told him what happened. And he said, where are you? I told him. He came and he ended up leaving without me. I remember up to that point, and then after that, I don't remember because I kept drinking.
She found out she was pregnant by accident when she went to the hospital for something totally different. Mr. Hendricks isn't buying it and thinks it's weird that she got pregnant so easily after years of struggling. His suspicion only gets worse from here.
So you find out you're pregnant?
Yes.
Do you tell Mr. Hendricks immediately, I'm pregnant?
I had actually went into the emergency room because I had an internal hernia. My surgeon had ordered a pregnancy test, all this, because if I had to go in for surgery. They came back and said, you do realize you're very early pregnant. My HCG level was only 22, just implanted.
Which is the reason why I started doubting it right off the bat.
Mr. Hendricks points out that they needed fertility treatments to have their first child, but this baby just showed up out of nowhere. He says it's way too convenient that she got pregnant right after her party phase. To top it off, they literally paid for a 4D ultrasound to study the baby's face like a crime scene.
I even went to the extent we went and paid for a 4D ultrasound just to see if there were any kind of characteristics that looked like me.
And he looks just like you.
All I see is a blob.
even in a 4D, do you
It
not
was
see his
too
eyes?
early.
You don't see a blob, that's a baby.
You can see the nose and eyes, but it was too early. I was very concerned. I wanted to know right then.
We fought over this.
This couple zoomed in on their baby's face like detectives, trying to find proof he looks like his dad. Mrs. Hendricks says he has the same eyes and nose, but Mr. Hendricks isn't convinced at all. Now, they're turning to science to get answers.
I've got this notch in my ear that my other kids have. This one don't even have it.
Oh, baloney.
They don't have any
His ears
of the
are small. He
characteristics
was
that I
premature.
have because I lost both my fathers and I want my last name to go on. When I pass, I'm not seeing it with this one. And this one is actually named after me and my father. The tribute to this is so insane that it crushes me even just looking at him.
Mr. Hendricks goes full detective mode when he realizes Christopher Jr. has a different blood type than their first kid. He's sure this is proof the baby isn't his, and honestly, it's starting to sound convincing. But wait, here comes a real doctor to explain what's going on.
It went to the extent when we were in the hospital that when he was born, he was not breathing for a minute and a half. Finds out he's got a blood disorder. Is crazy because it's fighting with her blood. But the more I got to thinking about it, none of my other kids have ever had this problem. Our 4-year-old daughter does not have this problem.
But it's not a genetic disorder.
A doctor steps in and says blood type drama is real, and this situation could happen even with a biological dad. But here's the catch. If it happened with this baby, it should have happened with their first child too. Mr. Hendricks still isn't buying it, and now emotions hit their peak.
Blood type is passed down from parent to child. A child will inherit one type from each parent. There's type O, A, and B. The mother has type O, the baby has a different type, such as A or B. And what happens is the mother's body sees that blood as foreign, which attacks the baby's blood and can destroy the blood cells, and the baby can get very sick. But we do know in almost every pregnancy that cells do pass back and forth.
For the first time, Mr. Hendricks stops arguing and starts crying. He says his family is his whole world, and he wants this baby to be his so badly. But before he can let his guard down, he needs that DNA test result.
This family is my planet. It's what I breathe. This one here just completes my solar system. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Wow. So you want this to be your child?
130%. Want them to be mine so we could be happy again. Put all this, BS behind us and go forward, be a family.
Well, that's why we're here.
Yes, ma'am.
The results are in, and boom.
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Hendricks, you are the father.
I told you.
This courtroom was straight up wild from the start. Ms. Autry swears Ms. Martin is lying about her son being the father and even claims to have proof. Ms. Martin claps back, saying the real problem is that Ms. Autry just doesn't like her.
Ms. Autry, you say the defendant is taking advantage of your son by pinning a baby on him, and you have physical proof that her 2-year-old daughter, Skyla, is not your grandchild.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Autry says Ms. Martin trapped her son by giving him money, clothes, and even a car. Then she takes it too far, throwing out some not-so-nice names. Judge Lake shuts it down fast, reminding everyone to keep it respectful.
Well, she entrapped my son by marrying him, by giving him things like money, clothes, car, you name it, she give it to him. And she just want a man to call uncle, she no but old tramp.
Wait a minute now. Let's use respectful language. You say she entrapped him, but she's giving him money. She's doing this. What does she want
She
from
want a
him?
man of her own.
She wanted a man of her own.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Autry got a call about the wedding and decided to physically stop it. She jumped out of bed, started walking, and got a ride from a friend, only for the wedding party to change locations to escape her. That's right. They had to move the wedding just to avoid her drama.
That's my husband.
That's your yes, your husband.
My husband.
Cause I got a phone call, y'all getting married down to my house, so I was on my way walking down there to start the marriage to my friend. That's why I was going out to go start the wedding.
She tried to stop the wedding, Your Honor. She tried to stop the wedding.
Way too close so you can get married to him.
She tried to stop the wedding.
Miss Autry, I missed all of that.
When Ms. Martin was in the hospital in pain, Ms. Autry showed up to announce that the baby wasn't her grandchild. She made such a scene that security had to kick her out. You'd think that would be enough, but nope, she still wasn't done.
Well, my son is not your baby father.
So once you came in, you were in pain. Once you came in, you were in pain. Miss Autry said, "This isn't my child." Somebody came in and said, "If you keep acting up, we're gonna put you out."
They put her out.
So you didn't stop acting up?
No, Your
She crazy, Your Honor.
What was she doing?
She was acting crazy. She was out in the hospital saying, "That ain't none of my son's baby."
Ms. Autry claims she knows Skyla isn't her grandchild because her toes don't cross and her eyebrows aren't thick enough. Ms. Martin argues that, she's 2, maybe give her some time. Judge Lake can barely keep a straight face, but the real shocker was still coming.
That little right one is kind of hedging over, though.
Yes.
It's got to be fully crossed.
Yes, ma'am.
She only 2. I mean, give her time. The toes got to grow. Let them develop first.
You got that big old toe.
She has toes like Miss Autry as well. They have little feet.
My toes don't. You want to see my toes?
Your feet are little, Miss Autry. My daughter has feet like her family. Miss Autry has small feet, and so does my baby.
Ms. Martin drops a bomb. She did tell her husband he wasn't the father, just to hurt him. She says she was mad that he left her for another woman. Now everyone's looking around like, wait, so who is the dad then?
You told him, your husband, that this was not his child?
Yes, Your Honor. I was trying to hurt him. He left me to go be with another woman, and I was trying to hurt him like he hurted me.
Did you sleep with another man?
Yes, Your Honor. Prior to him in 2014, June.
And she was already pregnant.
No,
Is there any chance that man could be Skyla's biological father?
No, Your Honor.
Enter Mr. Gott, who casually claims he might be the dad because he and Ms. Martin weren't exactly careful. Then we find out he used to date Ms. Autry's daughter, which makes everything 10 times messier. This ain't even a court case anymore. It's a soap opera.
Do you believe you are Skyla's biological father?
Yes, ma'am.
And Your
No,
Honor,
he's not.
that's her ex-boyfriend, my daughter's.
Wait a minute now. Miss Cooper, this is your ex-boyfriend?
Yes, Your Honor.
That was a mistake, Your Honor.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Martin.
I'll take that for 200, Your Honor.
Buckle up, because this case is packed with love, drama, and jaw-dropping twists. Ms. Whittier is 100% sure that Mr. Reed is the father of her 22-month-old son, Lucas. But Mr. Reed isn't convinced, especially after learning about Lucas's rare medical condition.
You say that you are sure Mr. Reed is the father of your 22-month-old son, Lucas. But the defendant's paternity doubts have led to constant fighting and tension in your relationship. You desperately hope to prove he is the father to save your family.
One argument changed everything when Ms. Whittier blurted, "How do you even know he's yours?" She insists she never doubted it, but those words stuck. What started as a petty fight turned into a full-blown court case.
Shortly before Lucas's birth, we had an argument. That argument led to the ultimate gonna shut him up kind of moment. So I said, well, how do you know if it's even yours?
You say that in the argument.
Yes. I never doubted it was his, but I just kind of wanted to end the argument and let it be done. And I've regretted that statement ever since I made it.
Their love story began with Mr. Reed's accidental hero moment, saving a child who didn't need saving. Ms. Whittier, impressed, invited him to dinner and sparks flew, but their romance didn't stay picture perfect for long.
How did your relationship begin?
Tried to save my toddler that he thought was drowning. He didn't realize she could swim.
Oh, that's cute.
It was a baby, and she was adorable, cute little stubby thing running around the pool in a little swimmer diaper. Jumps in the pool, so I'm laying in a lawn chair, getting my tan on. And here she goes. I look up, she jumps in the pool, and I'm right behind her. And
After Mr. Reed moved away, Ms. Whittier woke up one night with a strange feeling. When she checked her phone, she saw his message. Come get me. It's time to come home. If that's not fate, what is?
At about 3 o'clock one morning, I don't know if you want to call it a dream or a feeling, but I got up, and as I started down the hall, the family member that was staying with me kind of met me in the hallway, and she said, it's time to go get Joe. And so I checked Facebook, and there's a message from him.
Really?
Come get me. It's time to come home.
Oh.
Enter the drama. Mr. Reed's ex whispered doubts into his ear, while Ms. Whittier's ex sent her an inappropriate video. One saw it as proof of betrayal, and suddenly, everything spiraled out of control.
With his ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
The conflict started between me and her. Well, then she starts whispering in his ear, oh, well, what if it's not yours? There was some argument. An ex of mine decided to be disgusting, send a very vulgar message to my phone. He found it and thought that maybe there was some continuing relationship there.
then I moved in with my ex.
Ms. Whittier's ex sent a scandalous video, and Mr. Reed assumed the worst. Instead of talking it out, he packed his bags and moved in with his ex. If that sounds messy, just wait. It gets worse.
So you're pregnant now. Your ex sends you a picture, a text.
It was a video.
What was in the video,
And
Mr. Reed?
he was having sex with somebody. Outright, it showed everything.
It did.
Your ex sent a video of him having sex with somebody else.
Yeah,
I think
sure.
he was trying to make me jealous and make me come back to him. I don't think it was gonna work.
That was a pretty
didn't,
horrible concept. I mean, I don't know what he was thinking.
During pregnancy, Ms. Whittier faced a life-threatening blood clot. She called Mr. Reed, who rushed to her side. They spent a month in the hospital praying for a healthy baby, but their challenges were far from over.
Until I got sick. I had a blood clot. Put me in the hospital, put me on blood thinners, and they said the blood thinners carry a massive risk, neither one of you making it through. And I called him and I said, you need to come home.
I'd never been so scared in my life.
And I told him that I didn't know if Lucas was gonna make it. I didn't know if I was gonna make it.
Mr. Reed was thrilled to cut the umbilical cord until the hospital refused to list him on the birth certificate. Since Miss Whittier was still married to someone else, they wrote unknown instead.
On the day Lucas was born as well?
Oh, yes.
Oh, you were?
I
You
cut
was.
the umbilical cord, Your Honor.
Cut
I
the
held
umbilical
one
cord
leg,
and
folded
turned
her
into a
up. My
big
mom had the
marshmallow.
other one, and she instantly cried as soon as they
He cried more than I did.
I lost it, and I held him in my arms. That is my world right there. That's my boy. Do anything for him. I need to know. I want it out of my household. Bad element.
Are you on Lucas's birth certificate?
No, ma'am.
He's not.
At 2 weeks old, Lucas had a seizure and was diagnosed with albinism. Mr. Reed panicked. How could his son have it if no one in his family did? Judge Lake called in an expert to clear things up.
When Lucas started getting really sick, when he was 2 weeks old, he had his first grand mal seizure. Sometime during that 3-week hospitalization, Joe's like, how does this happen? The heart issues or the brain issues that Lucas does. I tried telling him, sometimes it can be so far back in your family you don't know it's there.
A specialist explained that albinism is a recessive condition. Both parents can carry the gene without knowing. The science made sense, but Mr. Reed still had doubts. Only a DNA test could settle this.
Albinism is passed genetically from the parents to the child, but depending on which gene is affected, depends on whether both parents or one parent. And when it meets a copy of itself, meaning both parents having the albinism, the same gene affected, then it becomes dominant. Everybody can carry the albinism trait, but usually you only find out when the baby gets here.
Judge Lake read the results. Boom!
It has been determined by this court. Mr. Reed, you are the father.
At their dad's birthday, the twins hear him say, "You know these aren't my kids." They're completely confused because he's always been their dad. The family acts like nothing happened. But this is just the start of the drama.
Okay, well, it all started about a year ago at his birthday party. And we overheard him speaking to some of our family members saying that y'all know these not my kids. That's what he was saying. We heard him. Now we was listening. Saying to our family members, y'all know they're not my kids.
All these sins and nobody is helping.
Okay.
That's what he was explaining to the rest of our family members.
Nobody said anything. It was just dry. But I'm thinking he's just speaking under the influence of alcohol.
The twins talk about how they grew up thinking he was their real dad. His name is on their birth certificates, and he took care of them. Now, they're wondering why he suddenly doesn't claim them.
We
grew up when baby as him being our father. He would come visit us. He would take us out. He's been there. He's on our birth certificate.
Yeah.
He's our dad.
Why is it that you believe you're not their father when, sounds like to me, you've raised them as your own?
Yes, I did. Knowing from the start that I knew they wasn't mine.
He says he doubted they were his kids since day one, but kept it to himself. He heard their mom call another man for money while looking at him like, shh. The twins can't believe he waited 18 years to say something.
I was coming home one day and she was in the backyard barbecuing, and I noticed this big, beautiful smile, big breasts. I'm living in her mama's basement, and not too soon after that, she's on the phone calling some guy out, telling him to send money. You know, I'm pregnant, and she's looking at me going like this.
His reason for doubting them? They were glowing. He says they were too pale and shiny, but the judge and audience aren't buying it.
You were there for the birth?
I was right there beside her.
So you were in the delivery room?
Yes, with my little mask on and doctor suit on. When I seen them coming out, they was glowing. Yeah. Look how pale they was, and plus the gook on their body. You know, they was shining. I didn't have intentions on signing it, but, you know, I had the spirit come over me, you know, the little devil and the angel.
Oh!
The twins call him out for not providing for them. Their basketball coach even had to buy their school supplies. He argues he did his best, but they're not convinced.
Because you wasn't doing what you were supposed to do.
They'll give you allowance?
It's not about allowance. What school clothes did you buy?
I'm a single parent. I was never able to buy 2 pair of Nikes, 2 cell phones, 2 this, 2 this. You know,
You didn't buy anything.
Okay, So now I get punished because I'm not money worthy. You know, to keep them happy.
Their mom passed away when they were just 8, and it was heartbreaking. Their dad didn't take them in right away. Grandma says he only did it after finding out he'd get $900 a month.
When we were 8 years old, in front of us. You know what I'm saying? It happened in front of us, but nobody never asked how we were doing. You know, he took us to clubs, you know, away from our family. You know, everything that we
a year later,
he took us.
And before we left, my mom's mom told us he didn't want us till he found out he was going to be getting $900 a month.
He suddenly says a white man is their real dad. His proof? One twin has a skin condition that he heard is common in Caucasians.
When we went to a doctor, she got marks on her back, and the doctor questioned, you know.
She had some marks on her back.
Yeah, some skin. She come out the doctor, Daddy, you sure y'all got the wrong babies? I'm not the biological dad, okay.
So the doctor told you?
Basically, I had this skin condition on my back, which is called tinea versicolor.
A cousin says their mom had a white man who sent her money all the time. Apparently, he was just a sugar daddy and not necessarily their father. Now, everyone's questioning what's real.
But he's talking about a white man that actually, I don't know how to word it, but I want to say he was like her John. He didn't care if she was pregnant. He would have sent her money just because that's what they do. That was his purpose of being there. She didn't just call once. He sent money often. Exactly. Before she got pregnant, he was sending money.
So what you're saying is...
Even his own mom calls him out. She says he should have figured this out years ago. The twins are like, even grandma thinks you're wrong, dude.
Right, you say he's not the father after 18 years. He should have said this from the very beginning when the first month when Sophia died. That's what he should have said when the twins were born. He should have said they weren't his, but he didn't. And I don't want Greg to tell me ever again that he's not the father.
And that's true.
The judge finally drops the bomb.
Antonia and Rodnea Eggleston. Mr. Eggleston, you are their father.
Buckle up, y'all. This case is a mess. The judge introduces Murray v. Gerald Donaldson, where Ms. Harris's boyfriend, Mr. Murray, and her ex, Mr. Donaldson, both think they're Anaya's dad. Ms. Harris explains how she ended up with 2 potential baby daddies. And trust me, this is just the beginning.
You have been caught in a love triangle. There are 2 men in court today claiming to have fathered your 18-month-old daughter, Anaya, your current boyfriend, the plaintiff, Mr. Murray, and the defendant, your ex-boyfriend, Mr. Donaldson. They are both in court today to prove paternity.
Ever tell a guy you're pregnant and he just dips? That's what happened to Ms. Harris. She and Mr. Donaldson were together until she broke the news, and he instantly moved on. He showed up for the baby shower and birth, but before that, nowhere to be found. And somehow, it gets worse.
From my understanding, we was dating. Then when I got pregnant, he told me he had feelings for another girl. He told me that he didn't want to be with me. So I was basically alone during my pregnancy. He was there during the baby shower. He came to the hospital with his mom.
And so you boyfriend and girlfriend, and you find out you're pregnant while you're in the relationship with him?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson didn't believe she was pregnant and thought it was a trap. Reality hit when her belly started growing, but he still never went to any doctor's appointments. Wait till you hear how his mom found out.
At some point, he did accept that the baby was his?
He had to when he seen that my belly was big. He brought me a pregnancy test.
So you brought her a pregnancy test and said, prove it.
Yeah.
And she did.
By that time, it was too late. She was like big. I hadn't seen her in so long. It wasn't even no point in getting a pregnancy test.
Oh, because you tell then she is pregnant.
Yeah.
Too scared to tell his mom, Mr. Donaldson had his dad do it. She found out at the baby shower, but got suspicious when she saw another man around the baby. And that's when the drama really took off.
I didn't even tell her, honestly. I told my father, and my father told her.
At what point do you actually meet Miss Harris? Because you don't even know her at this point.
I had met her one time before, and then the second time was at the baby shower.
And you were there as the grandmother, the paternal grandmother?
Yes.
Mr. Murray found out he might be a dad through a Facebook message from Mr. Donaldson. Now Mr. Donaldson says he doesn't remember sending it, but Mr. Murray sure does. Ms. Harris admits she was with both guys around the same time. And this love triangle is looking real messy.
One day I was on Facebook and I got a message from Jalen. He told me that the baby could possibly be mine.
Telling you that the baby could possibly be yours?
Yeah, I need to get a DNA test.
You sent him that message, Mr. Donaldson?
I don't recall. I'm not gonna say yes, I'm not gonna say no.
And what did you say when you got that?
I said, are you sure?
Ms. Harris insists she and Mr. Murray used protection, but he disagrees. The timelines are all over the place, and now we've got a full-on paternity mystery. And just when you think it can't get any crazier,
you did sleep with Mr. Murray?
Yes.
While you were in the relationship with Mr. Donaldson?
Yes.
Mr. Murray, what do you remember? She was in a relationship with Mr. Donaldson at the time, but you all ended up having a sexual encounter during that time?
Yes.
But you say you used protection. You say you did not. Okay, that's how we get a paternity issue.
Mr. Murray casually drops a bomb he and Ms. Harris had a threesome in December. The judge is shook. The courtroom is shook. Everyone is confused. Ms. Harris says it doesn't matter because the baby was conceived in February. But at this point, who even knows?
We had a situation December 14th.
What's a situation?
A threesome.
Oh, wait, that's December. And you didn't use protection during that? I don't know what y'all out here doing. The threesome's bad enough. Unprotected is just outrageous, insane, unacceptable.
Through all the chaos, Mr. Murray actually stepped up. He took in Ms. Harris and the baby when Anaya was 3 months old. Meanwhile, Mr. Donaldson moved out of state and vanished, but he still has opinions.
Who's in her life as father? Who does she bond with as father?
Mr. Murray. She looks to him like he's her father because he'd been there ever since she was 3 months.
What was it that made you decide to be a part of the baby's life, Mr. Murray?
At that point in time, she was in like a down position, so I just took her in. I take care of both of y'all.
Time for the classic baby picture debate. Even Mr. Donaldson admits the baby looks like Mr. Murray, and Mr. Murray's mom swears Anaya is his. But looks don't count. DNA does.
Ms. Weaver, have you developed a relationship with Anaya?
Oh, yes. That's my grandbaby.
And so you spend a lot of time with her?
Yes, I do. I'm with her almost every other day.
So, Mr. Donaldson, are you hoping she's your daughter?
Yeah, I guess you can say that. I've been missing so much of her life. I mean, I don't know how much I'm supposed to do right now or how I'm supposed to really feel.
The judge reveals
it has been determined by this court. Mr. Murray, you are not the father.